Let's get on to the juicy part of the podcast. Am I joining OnlyFans? Well, let's give you some context behind this first, right? So, for those of you guys who don't know, also manages a lot of my partnerships. So, here has an email address which my partnerships come into, and last week this popped into the inbox.
Yeah, so it was quite funny because I woke up in the morning and I usually go through emails, and I saw the email that said hello Saf, and he goes, I'm contacting you on behalf of OnlyFans. So I was like, excuse me, what? I kind of paused. I thought it was dreamy, and it says,
That
we would love to have you as a creator on the platform, which is good. So I sent it over to Saf, and I was like,
it's just like
it's our
lol.
time to shine.
He's the money man. He just sees dollar signs. That's what he sees. All of the rest of it, the part about my mom actually killing me, that all goes out the window. It's just like money. But obviously, let's put the email up on screen. And do you wanna read out parts of it?
Yeah. So it says, I'm contacting you on behalf of OnlyFans. Would love to have you as a creator on our platform. OnlyFans is a great place for you to monetize off your tech reviews, advice, and other content you may be already creating. Our platform is designed to make money for any type of content creator by providing the ability to charge fans a monthly subscription fee for their content. I also have the ability to feature and promote the account to up to about 80 million users on the site. So I didn't even know they had 80 million users, which is
That's
quite
quite a big
interesting.
user base. So of
Yeah.
course, they are not expecting me to post anything. What's the word? um,
R rated.
R-rated, right? So obviously, as soon as I posted that screenshot after he sent it to me, that tweet just everybody was having a good laugh about it, and they were like, had a few people saying that will sub. So shout out to you guys who would sub if I was there. Now, here's the thing: there's a couple of things here, right? So, firstly, OnlyFans is not necessarily a platform for R-rated content, right? It can
Yeah.
be for anything, as they've said in the email. So they've basically approached me in the sense that, hey, your tech reviews, they've probably seen content that I've been posting on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And they're like, you could post exclusive content. So this is more like of a Patreon, I think, which more people are familiar with, right? Where it's
Yeah.
exclusive content for your followers. They pay a monthly fee, and they get content that they wouldn't see on your other platforms, right? So it's essentially exclusive content. However, the trend on OnlyFans obviously has been R-rated content, which has gained the reputation and the association when anybody mentions OnlyFans. I mean, the fact that I used the hashtag OnlyFans on TikTok and my video got taken down. So I uploaded an unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE Fan Edition. And one of the things that I joke about a little bit on my video and things like that is that I just deliberately call it the OnlyFans edition, just having a play on the fan edition, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I use that hashtag, boom, TikTok took it down. And that again re-emphasizes that association that for most people, when they think OnlyFans, they think R-rated.
Yeah, no, it's true. But it's also interesting, the dynamic, because I remember we talked about this and we said, as a creator, also, you sometimes have to look at different avenues, right? Of where your content should go. But what I also find quite interesting is how, the idea of OnlyFans, and so almost like a specific paid subscription for your fans it's very foreign to us here. But when you look at places like China, where they have very different social networks, the only social network we share is TikTok with China and the U.S. There's a lot of social networks or sites like that. I was listening to, again, this is going back to Clubhouse, which is the new social network I'm on. I was listening to a room where somebody was talking about live streaming in China, how they have very specialized live streams that are paid by fans, and they had one streamer who had 60 million fans live at one point in time, which is huge. I mean, whew, if I only just had 1 million, I would be happy. Actually, if I had 500 people, it would be fine.
Yeah.
But the idea that people are paying for that kind of access over there as opposed to here is a very interesting take. I don't think it would necessarily work within the Western world. I think it's a very different mindset altogether. But it does play an interesting role to see what are people willing to accept and what things will transfer over there. Whether it's the pandemic that made more R-rated content go to OnlyFans, or maybe it was just the point in time, or is it something where the Western audience might be used to the fact that, okay, look, I want my creators to give me specialized content like a Netflix or a Hulu, where I don't know if OnlyFans can pivot that way, where you go, okay, look, you get the kind of content you want from this, as opposed to you're getting R-rated content. It's a very tricky road, I think.
I think they are trying to kind of break away from that because, not putting all your eggs in one basket. And, yes, they've gained a reputation for that. But I think they're trying to reach out to content creators because I'm assuming they've not only reached out to myself, they've probably reached out to a few others where it's just like, hey, how do we diversify the content on here, right? Because this is a platform for exclusive content for your fans, for your followers. To answer the question, will I be joining? The answer is still no, even if it is for tech content. And I'll give you
the answer is not at this time. Not at this time.
Oh, not at this time. Okay, businessman E is coming there. He's seeing dollar signs in the future. No, but the reason why I would not join is because personally, and this is no criticism to anybody else, personally for me, I do not feel comfortable asking my followers for money in exchange for content. And that's because I'm fortunate enough to make a good living from the content that I post anyway, through sponsorships and partnerships that we have. And I think that's something that not all content creators are fortunate enough to have. Being in the space of tech, it is a very good space to be in, and we're very blessed that a lot of brands like to work with us and they see the value of working with us, with our engaged and very targeted audience. And this is something that we are obviously very fortunate of. There's lots of other creators who, maybe cannot get partnerships and sponsorships as easily as we do. And for them, I think, platforms like Patreon, potentially OnlyFans, are very, very good ways for them to, pay the bills, keep making the content that they're making. Because I think a lot of people there's a thin line between doing something you love and work, right? So a lot of people, the quote that's thrown around a lot is, if you do something you love, you will not work a day in your life, right? Now that's a tricky slope, because a lot of times you find creators, just doing lots and lots of work for free, essentially, right? And that also is not fair. So if they are creating content that's bringing value to somebody, and if your followers and your fans want to support that content because they want that exclusive content, then I think that's absolutely fine. But for me personally, at this time anyway, it's not something that I would be looking into.
No, I do agree. I think it is a slippery slope. There's one creator I knew way back. He used to make a lot of headphone videos, a lot of high-end headphones, which is very niche. And he started a Patreon, but his Patreon was very different. And I actually liked his idea. He said this was a fund for users to pick and choose which headphones you should buy and then review. Because he was reviewing like $1,000 headphones, $2,000 systems, things like that were quite pricey for any creator to buy. And I kind of liked that approach. That was a very nice approach too, where he said, look, guys, you want me to cover this? It's expensive. And I think it was actually from one of his fans who suggested it. Like, look, and people were like, great. And so there was like a monthly poll of people saying, hey, okay, how about this month? Can we cover this new headset? It's $3,000. He's like, sure, no problem. Because it was more like a community effort of doing things.
I like
so
that.
there are different ways to do it. And that I think makes sense. And I think most people shouldn't just think of it as being, I'm earning money or I'm charging my users because it's a very tricky slope
Oh,
to charge people for content like that, in a sense. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's something that you have to weigh properly.
oh, totally, yeah. And there is also the element of then being under pressure to give value to your audience, who are actually now not only giving you their time and their attention, but they're also giving you hard-earned cash that they have, right? And then it kind of puts, I think it also puts, because right now I'm pretty flexible with what I want to create. Obviously, I create content which I know my followers want to see because, I know that's what's going to get watched. I know that's what's going to get picked up in the YouTube algorithm. And I also kind of mix that with things that I like and I enjoy, such as fun thumbnails, which we'll cover in a lot of detail in a future episode for sure. But one of the things that I think that would be quite challenging, and it'd be interesting to actually speak to somebody potentially in a future episode who has a Patreon or paid subscription that they use, and why they use it and how it works. Because for me, kind of like one of the thoughts I would have would be the pressure of actually delivering content to people who have now paid for that content as well.
No, it's very true. I think those are the kind of things that come into play. So at least for me, on my point, I'll say, I do like what OnlyFans is trying to do to expand. I think anyone who's thinking of that should also understand that, with anything, there are benefits and disadvantages. Just like being on YouTube, there are disadvantages to being on YouTube as well. So you just have to weigh those things and think about. I think one thing which maybe we didn't mention earlier was when you become a YouTuber, I think most people need to think they are more than just a YouTuber. You're a creator as a whole. And think of creating in every single social outlet that you can. Because, you never know. TikTok might just be your thing instead of YouTube. And, that might be the place where you thrive much better. So, I'll say don't rule out OnlyFans, but just weigh it effectively.
So the reason why he's saying that is because he doesn't want me to say no to OnlyFans because he sees dollar signs in the future. He's a businessman. He's a business. That's why I work with him. I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to hear the full podcast episode, then that will be linked down below. And if you want to see more clips like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf Speaks, and I'll see you next time.